Namaskaram, good afternoon. Welcome to Mana TV live channel through SoFTNET on physical science pedagogy. We discussed various concepts of teaching pedagogy, correct? Okay, in this we discussed about the methods of physical science teaching, aims and objectives of the physical science, different resource books, and the philosophy of the textbook. Today we are going to learn about the curriculum. This is the most important, and if the time permits I will discuss the various resources which is in the form of websites or through internet. Okay. So, maybe you understand from so many classes why the textbooks are changed. Previously the textbook is nothing but the dumping of concepts. In the previous 10th class textbook, when you observe it, there are 52 concepts. Okay. In the physics we gave units and dimensions, kinematics, pure dynamics, applied dynamics, thermodynamics, simple harmonic motion, sound, electricity, magnetism, electromagnetism, and the modern physics. In modern physics we are going to learn about nuclear physics and electronics. These are the chapters in physics. Coming to the chemistry, atomic structure, chemical bonding, periodic table, solutions, organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, alkanes, alkynes, ketones, aldehydes, product of petrochemicals, preparation of sugarcane, preparation of alcohol and other products. So, there is a dumping of concepts. Here the very important thing is the syllabus has to complete in a given particular academic year. Generally the schools start from June 12th and end with in the month of March, correct? Approximately 220 to 230 days are working days. So, some days are meant for the various works. So, the actual classroom transaction will be takes place around 180 days. In this 180 days we have to conduct various tests also, like presently we are conducting formative assessments, summative assessments and baseline tests and 3 hours programs, like so many things. So, actual process will take place for 100 periods. Is it possible to complete the total syllabi in 100 periods? Can you assess it? So, it is a very difficult. There is a big brainstorming happens. So, we are dumping all the concepts, it is not the correct way, because we are in the spiral education. So, we are learning the concepts from 6th to 10th class, and of course the advancement will be learned in intermediate level. So, we do not want to dump the concepts in the curriculum. So, for that reason the textbooks are revised and rewritten and the syllabus also reorganized. So, we frame the curriculum. So, what are the factors preparation of this curriculum? Just we will see. The first one is we prepared the curriculum based on NCF 2005, National Curriculum Framework 2005. Based on NCF 2005 we prepare the curriculum. Based on NCF we prepared APSCF 2011, Andhra Pradesh State Curriculum Framework 2011. Based on APSCF we prepared 18 position papers. Okay. For each subject one position paper was written. What is meant by position paper and what is meant by curriculum framework? In the curriculum framework we have given the aims, values, objectives of the curriculum. What are the inputs we are giving and what are the outputs we are expecting. So, everything is given in the APSCF 2011. Based on that, for each subject one position paper is written. So, what you are expecting, what you are going to inculcate, what is the limits of that particular chapter, how it is related, what is the complexity, everything is given in the position paper. Okay, after position paper we prepared the syllabus. Okay. All expertise people are invited for the preparation of this syllabus. We consider the need of the present society. We consider NCERT textbooks. Okay. So, there are some considerations. I will give what are the considerations in the preparation of this curriculum. So, we will discuss it one by one. First, we consider Right to Education Act, RTE. Based on Right to Education Act, so we decided the syllabus, we decide the number of periods for each subject, we decide the standard of the each children. Okay. And the next one is based on National Knowledge Commission report. National Knowledge Commission report. Okay. And we consider 72nd and 73rd constitutional amendments. By considering Right to Education Act, by considering National Knowledge Commission report, and considering 72nd and 73rd constitutional amendments, the curriculum was prepared. Recently, our central government changed, revised NCF, and NCF 2015 document already released. Maybe you are aware about all these things or not, I do not know, but the curriculum was prepared in all these three. This is the most important. Okay. Now, the textbooks also, the philosophy also changed. The previously we gave the introduction, we gave the concepts, then we gave the exercises or one or two activities. Now, the concept is totally rewritten. The skeleton of concept was totally changed. Now, we will see one chapter how it is developed. The chapter analysis, I will say as a chapter analysis. The chapter analysis, the first one is the notion of the chapter. Notion of the chapter. What is the notion of the chapter? This is a very important. Means it is nothing but, in the narrow sense we will call it as an introduction, in the wider sense we will call it as a notion. Means it is integration of the concepts. So, we will consider what are the prerequisites is required to give the conceptual clarity for this given context. That will be considered. How this concept is involved, we have to explain. How the chapter is related to the other branches of or the other disciplines of the science. All together we call it as a notion. This is called the notion. A notion consisting of prerequisites and brainstorming. Okay. So, simply if you want to say, we will call it as an introduction, because we have to invite the children into the classroom transaction. We will drag the interest of the children towards a learning process. We want to make the children happy, enjoyable, child-centered. So, for this the teacher has to adopt a beautiful strategy, learning strategy. So, all will comes in this notion. And he has to first he has to prepare what are the prerequisites is required. He has to discuss all those in the classroom. Then some children knows the previous concepts, they will answer it, they feel happy, okay, we are participating in the classroom transaction. And some people doesn't know, then they will learn it. Okay, next, this process should be in the form of brainstorming strategy. You know that brainstorming strategy means here we will give a problem, we will give a concept, and each and every children will discuss it. There may be some of them are correct, some of them exactly not correct, some of them totally wrong, but whatever it may be, just we will make a free discussion like a debate. Every children will participate, children will say their reflections. Among them which is correct, the teacher has to identify and he has to explain. That is call it as a brainstorming strategy. Okay. The next one is we call it as activities. Okay, so activities are very, very important. For science based on activities and projects. So, we will explain the concepts through demonstration. and laboratories. There are two kinds of activities. The activities which can be demonstrated in the classroom environment, and another one is which can be exhibited in the laboratory. So, maybe a laboratory activity or maybe a general activity which can be expressed in the classroom transaction. So, activities are very important because there is some logical reasoning is there, there is aesthetic sense will be there, there is a creativeness is there, and the participation of student will be there, and they will get hands-on experience. So, all these will give an integrated approach to understand the concepts. So, after activities, we gave so many activities in the textbook. After activities, we gave a constructive questions. Okay. So, constructive questions means here, especially in constructive questions, there is think and discuss will be considered as a constructive questions. So, simply we will say think and discuss. If you go through the total textbook, you can't find any definition of any concept in the textbook. What is the reason? So, when you make as each concept with a definition, we are framing a fixed frame. So, there is no scope for thinking, logical reasoning, and no scope for explanation. So, for that reason, just it is in like a storytelling method or playing a skit, like we give the information, but not in the form of definitions. For that, so think and discuss questions will help them to deliberate, to understand the concepts. Okay. Then next. Next one is lab activities. Because some of the activities cannot be performed in the classroom, there is no very difficult to bring all the chemicals, all equipments in the classroom and exhibiting the same or performing the activity is a difficult task. So, we have to shift from classroom to laboratory. So, there we will use the lab activities. You know that. So, performing lab activities or writing a lab record will be awarded 5 marks as one of the tool in the formative assessment. After lab activity, we are giving a conceptual development. Are you understand here? So, what is the difference between the previous textbook and present textbook? Previous textbook we directly started the velocity is rate of change of displacement is called velocity, and velocity equal to displacement by time. The units of velocity is meters per second in SI system, and CGS system is simply meters per second we said and centimeters per second, like we gave the information. So, it is nothing but a rote learning memory, it is not correct. So, for that reason we started with notion, we started next way activities, then we follow the constructive questions like think and discuss, then we started laboratory activity, finally we started the conceptual development. So, means here unknown to known, analytical thinking, analytical approach was given in the present textbook. After conceptual development, so we have to identify the keywords. Keywords means a scientific words. So, there we gave it as keywords. What are the keywords for in it? For example, if you take a kinematic chapter, so you have to say what is inertia, what is relativity, what is displacement, what is distance, what is the relation between displacement and distance, what is velocity, what is uniform velocity, what is instant velocity, what is acceleration. So, like what are the new terms which are considered as a keywords given in a box. So, what the children has to do and what the teacher has to do in the classroom means here. So, teacher will explain all the keywords in an elaborated way. The children has to write the meaning of keywords in their written works. The written works is the second tool in formative assessment. The teacher has to avoid that, because everyone will not write the explanation of keyword in the same manner. They will write their own expressions, reflections. So, according to the perfection of that, they have to avoid the marks. That is the keywords. So, mostly the chapter completed. Then we recapitulated as what we have learnt. Means what we will, it's a simply we call it as so many words are there, it's like catchy words, recapitulation or review or summary. These are the different words, maybe all of you are observed. In some textbooks they are using as summary, and some books it is given as review of the chapter, and in some textbooks given, but in our present textbook we have given as what we have learned. The main points will be given as a synopsis. Okay, then you come to improve your learning. Maybe you feel that it's a different. Actually, previously it was given as exercise. Now it is modified as improve your learning. All the questions are categorized as 4 kinds. This is the most important. So the questions are categorized into 4 kinds according to nature of the questions. The first questions are based on reflection on concepts. This is the first kind of questions. And the second one is application of concepts. And the third one is higher order thinking questions. And the fourth one is multiple choice questions, MCQs. So the exercise, which is renamed as improve your learning, has 4 kinds of questions: reflection on concepts, application of concepts, higher order thinking questions, and multiple choice questions. And each question is categorized with respect to academic standards. It is clearly given as AS1, AS2, AS3, AS4 like. So the children can understand, at the same time the teacher can understand. Here reflection on concepts, how the children, how the teacher transacted the same in the classroom, whether he understand it or not. Okay. Some, for example, some substances are conductors, and some substances are insulators, and some substances are semiconductors. So in electronics they will say it. What is the reason? Between 2 bands which are existing in the atom, so generally you know that there are, of course, for example, we have 2 bands. One band is called valency bond and other band is conduction bond. Okay. In valency band we have positive holes, in the conduction band we have electrons. So if it is an insulator, between 2 bands there is some energy gap. That gap is called forbidden gap. If the gap is more than 5 electron volts, then there is no possibility of driven of electrons, free electrons from conduction band to valency band. There is no possibility. So when there is no free of electrons, what is meant by free of electrons? Flow free of electrons is called current. So there is no current. I mean, it doesn't allow the current through it. Hence we call it as an insulator. Here the very important point is the smallest unit of energy is electron volt. For that reason, this forbidden gap, which is energy gap, is measured as 5 electron volts, more than 5 electron. Okay. And next one, so when you consider some of them, the energy gap is around 1 electron volt, simple, 1 electron volt. When it is 1 electron, ordinary conditions it is not possible. In extraordinary conditions means here when you provide some energy, then the electrons are driven from conduction band to valency band, which allows it. That is called semiconductors. Silicon, germanium are said to be as a semiconductors. Generally you know that total equipment presently used in the various IT tools, you are using semiconductors. Now coming to the next one, so there is no energy gap between these 2 bands, they both are overlapped. There is no obstruction of flow of free electrons. Simply the electron move from one band to another band, that is called conductor. Okay, it's this kind of questions is called reflection on concepts. We can say now application of concepts. So we can ask the application of the concepts, means applicative questions on the particular concept. The children has to answer. Now come to the next one is higher order thinking questions. So here higher order thinking questions means here, so sometimes you have to say so which element belongs to the third group and third row, of course third period. We have to say, then the children has to think, okay, and it position also according to availability in the nature third place, which element it is. So the children has to that. So children knows it. So the maximum availability is first one is oxygen, second one is silicon, and the third one is aluminum. So aluminum stands third, and aluminum belongs to third group, and aluminum belongs to third period. So answer is aluminum. Like he has to say. So some higher order thinking questions. Now come to the multiple choice questions. So here multiple choice questions means there is a comment on multiple choice questions. There are 4 objectives called A, B, C, D. Blindly if you close your eyes and if you say A is answer, B is answer, not like. Here the preparation of the question should be, so all 4 options should be nearly related to the answer, and one of them is very best to the connectivity, like, but 3 are totally not concerned to the answer, and only one is a concern to the answer, means definitely blindly the children can identify it. It's not the way, it's not the objective of the multiple choice question. He has to read all the 4 options and he has to search which is the correct one. We have to justify which option is correct answer. These are the different 4 kinds of questions. In this manner, all the chapters are written in the textbook. Is it clear? So very important how the chapter was written and how the chapter is incorporated in the curriculum. That's the most important. Here in the textbooks, actually when you see that in the textbooks, generally you feel that there is some insufficiency of the inadequacy of the concepts to explain. Am I correct? So if you are a real teacher, and very important thing is, so I will put a question to you, why the textbooks are given to all the teachers before the commencement of classes, before summer. Recently in this academic year, we gave the textbooks to all the teachers in the month of March. So academic year starts in June. Why? The main purpose is, before going to the class, the teacher has to read the total textbook first. He has to prepare the year plan. He has to prepare the lesson plan. He has to collect the teaching learning material. He has to prepare the teaching learning models. So completely he has to prepare everything. After, that's the reason nearly 54 days was given to them. So in this time they have to prepare all these things, and like a fully loaded gun, the teacher should come to the classroom like a fully loaded gun. He has to deliberate his classroom transaction in an effective and enrichment manner. That's a very important. So for this some reference books are required, some reference websites are required, and some of course organizations, some magazines are required. So I am going to add all these so in this curriculum part. The first one, so last class I explained very important reference books to you. So maybe that's highly useful. Now I am going to give the information about various websites, or we call it as e-resources. This is very important, and the first one is this one is Let's Discover. Let's Discover Science Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4 and Part 5. So nearly there are different parts. Let's discover science. This is the most important. Okay. So this is a website. Let's discover science. So through this website you can identify, of course we can collect the required concepts. And one more is learning about living part. Learning about living part is another website which is highly useful to you to get the concepts which are in a digital format. Okay, and you can see National Geographical channel, also very important to you, and Discovery channel, also very good. So the teacher has to collect, has to record some of the good channels. Of course, concepts which is deliberated are transmitted in the those channels, and you can use it in the classroom transaction as audio visual clips. This is the two important things. Now coming to the next one, our government also provides an excellent opportunity as websites. One is called NROER, which is supported by NCERT. Simply, so if you want to know the website address, means www.nroer.gov.in. This is a website name, of course, and we can simply call it as NROER. NROER means National Repository Open Educational Resources. The full form of NROER, National Repository Open Educational Resources, and it is developed by NCERT. You know that full form of NCERT, National Council of Educational Research and Training. Okay, so in this NROER, when you see in the main web page, you have themes, you have e-library, you have e-Patasala, and other things also there, which you require, you can simply download. It's a open source, so you can simply download it, you can use it for your classroom transaction. There is no legal obligations. So, and it's a purely government organization, so website, so definitely you can use it for your classroom transaction. When you come into the next one is TROER, TROER, and is developed by SCERT. TROER means Telangana Repository Open Educational Resources. Recently we developed this, supported by SCERT, State Council of Educational Research and Training, and this will give the same manner. So here the very important thing is any student, any teacher can upload their own videos, concepts, and it is completely all the chapters which are in the digital format are uploaded. You can download, it's an open resource. For example, you want to download anything, you want to say whether it's an open source or not, there is a simple way. When it comes as a Creative Commercials, then it's a open resources. When it's not a Creative Commercials, then it's not an open resource. There is some legal obligations will be there. You have to take the permission from the author. That's a very, very important. Clear? So TROER is another. Now the same address will be www.troer.gov.in. It is a website address and very useful website also. So you can see all the physical science concepts which are required to you in the exam. Okay, these are two, and two more, and we have those, that is NIET, National Institute of Educational Technology or Educational Tools, and another one is SIET, SITE, State Institute of Educational Tools. NIET is supported by NCERT, and of course SIET is supported by SCERT. Okay, recently the site is transmitted digital classes. Okay, and already they are using some recorded classes also. So we can use it as either digital class format or recorded class format, all the chapters. So these are the two organizations, that is National Institute of Educational Tools and another one is State Institute of Educational Tools. These two organizations, they are giving each concept in the digital format. And the very important thing is some private organization, of course we are incorporated with our government organization, that is called Arvind Gupta. Arvind Gupta toys.com. Of course you can say www.arvindguptatoys.com. So here, so he is using some low cost and no cost material to explain each and every concept. So mostly all the activities which are given in our present textbook can be exhibited by this arvindguptatoys.com. So you can use it more effectively also. This is very, very important. Clear? So like some other websites also there, that is called meritnation.com. That's one of the website. You can prepare, you can collect what you call it, activities, worksheets and other things. Okay, and one more, pinkmonkey.com is there, is another website which is useful for the your classroom transaction. Okay, and www.cbsc.com. of course you can visit the CBSE also. There Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan prepares so many worksheets and all these things, so you can prepare, you can use all those things also. These are like some other organizations and private organizations also developed some software. You know that EduJan, Educare, okay, and other that BIITN.com and EDA software, e-learning resources, like so many e-resources are there in the market. You can utilize it and make into classroom transaction is in more effective manner. Okay. Now coming to the next one. So text, some books are over, websites are over. Now we are going to know about some magazines. So this is very important. You know that Chekumukhi is one of the magazine which is useful or maybe very familiar to all of you, and they are conducting quiz programs also. So Chekumukhi organization is conducting, that's a very important organization, religious Chekumukhi journal also, that's very important. And Ajim Premji University also releasing one magazine, okay, with the different names, that's also highly useful. And Science Olympiad, Physics Science Olympiad, one magazine also, Physics Today. Physics Today is a magazine name and is also highly useful. There is so much brainstorming questions also there. So these are the magazines which can be used to transact your classroom with a more effective manner. Okay, now coming to the next one is organizations. So which organizations provided? These organizations also I will give the names. Agastya International Foundation, Agastya International Foundation. So this organization will provide all kinds of material to you, the experiments and the material also. So because we want to feel that of all these classes which are based on the physical science teaching methodology or pedagogy, it should be like an encyclopedia for you. From these classes which are telecasted from the SoFTNET through Mana TV as a live classes, you have to use it not only for your selection, but also you can use it for in future as learning resources. That's the reason we are giving each and every information which is required. We are giving the textbook reference books names, we are giving the website names, we are giving the magazines names, and we are giving the organization names, and we are giving the various methods, aims, objectives, like each and everything which is like an encyclopedia. Okay, and then another one is you know that Avihi Abacus project. Abacus project. This is one more organization which provides the next one, and the next one is BASC. And BASC means we can say Bangalore Association for Science Education. BASC means Bangalore Association for Science Education. Simply called it as BASE. And you know that Bharata Gnana Vijnana Samiti. Bharat Gnan Vignan Samiti. Bharat Gnan Vignan Samiti is one of the organization which provides good environment or good resources for effective classroom transaction. And you know that Center for Environmental Education also, CEE, Center for Environmental Education, also one of the education organization which provides science equipment and all the things. Now coming to the next one is it's a very familiar Ekalavya organization, and there is a Ekalavya Institute of Teacher Education also there. Ekalavya organization. and very familiar, you know, that Homi Bhabha Center for Science Educational Research. Center for Science Education and Research. It is in Trombay and highly useful for that, and very important as Indian Science Congress Association. Indian Science Congress Association is ICSCA, simply ISCA. It's a very useful this one, and one more is NCSTC, National Council for Science and Technology Communication. National Council for Science, Technology and Communication, NCSTC. This is one more organization used for the getting good learning resources. And of course, we can, just now I said, State Institute of Science Education, and one more Rajiv Gandhi Foundation was there, and Tamil Nadu State also, a Tamil Nadu State Council for Science and Technology, and Vidya Bhavan also started Vidya Bhavan Society. One more, you know, that Vikram Sarabhai Community Science Center. Vikram Sarabhai Community Science Center also another one, which is highly useful organization to provide science equipments. These are the various organizations which provides science equipments. Is it clear? That's most important. So, and one more information to you, that is you are going to know that. So now we are explaining various concepts like various reference books, various reference websites, reference magazines, reference organizations. Now come to what is the aim and objective of teaching science, which is given in the curriculum. That's the most important. It provides opportunities for scientific study and creativity within a global context that will stimulate challenges students. Very important thing is it should provide opportunities. It should provide opportunities, scientific study, okay, and creative approach, or simply called as creativity, intrinsic heart, with respect to with respect to global context. Okay, this is the most important. Through our curriculum, our children should be one of the competitor in the global contest. That's the reason, you know, that maximum of our children, if you consider the USA, nearly 20% of the employees from Asian countries, means maximum part from our India, because our curriculum supports is a global contest. So wherever you go, the concept may be same. So we are considering the global needs. That's one of the important objective of our textbook. And it's not a theory, it's a scientific study. We are introducing everything. We introduce the nuclear physics, we introduce the solid state physics, we are introducing the physical science, of course, in the form of electronics and semiconductor theory, everything. So in the up to school education level is aware about all this, and we are using ICT, information communication technologies. We are using everything. Just now I said we are using every concept, like we are transmitting everything in the audiovisual form to aware about it. And creativity. We promote the children also developing the creativity nature. Creativity nature, that's for that reason. So we incorporated activities, laboratory activities, projects in the textbook. It is a part and partial in the curriculum. So, we are not performing the project separately. So, in every formative assessment we are conducting one project in physical science, okay, and we are performing the activities in the classroom. Children also perform the activities in the laboratory. So, the children has a hands-on experience, and there is a possibility for a creativeness also. And intrinsic cut means so they are eagerly waiting for knowing unknown things. Okay, that is very important. So, we are giving importance for the retentivity of the concept, and we are observing their perceptual levels, and we are verifying their sustainability. These are the very important qualities. Through science, through our teaching, through our curriculum, we are going to develop all these in the minds of the children. Okay. And next one is develops ability analyze, synthesize, interpret, okay, and characterize. So, through our curriculum, the children should develop the abilities of analyzing. He has to analyze the concept. Okay. So, that is a very, very important. Synthesize, he has to separate the things according to the required manner. For example, petrochemical products. First crude oil will come. When it is okay, so the cleans, of course, in the process of cleaning, synthesis, there is the process, so many subproducts will come, correct? So, we have to know what are the subproducts. Or getting sugar from sugar cane, what are the subproducts? Molasses is one of the subproducts. So, means it's nothing but in the synthetic approach. Interpret, this is the most important. It has to interpret the things. Just now I quoted so many examples. Okay, so when you are walking and by seeing the moon, you feel that moon also coming with you. What is the reason? Why the sky is blue, and why the small ants walks on water layer, on the surface of water or surface of a liquid, and why the Ganesh idol drank the milk. So, these are the some questions. Okay. So, there the children first understand, they will think about all these things, they will interpret it. I said all these answers, of course teachers ask, why the Ganesh or drank the milk, is it possible? They drank the milk. The reason is the idol will made up with either clay or some bronze or some metal. It is a solid. Solid is in the form of crystal form. The crystal is nothing but arrangements of the molecules. In between molecules there is some gap. In that gap air will be filled. When there is air, there will be pressure will form. When you dip into the milk or water, then it drags upwards, means the milk goes upwards. Then we feel that it is nothing but drinking the milk. So, when you consider how these small ants or small insects walks on the surface of water, means here it is like elongated elastic rubber because of surface tension. So, then these small ants or small insects will walk on it, because the scattering of light, because of scattering of light the sky is blue. Because of relativity we feel that when you are moving on the road, of course the moon also coming with you. Like they interpret, characterize. So, this is the most important. Characterize means they divides the things, they characterize the things, so they will observe, if you call it as weight, weightless, or weight, mass and weight, velocity and speed. Okay, like they will characterize the things. So, we are generally use some words. So, how they are interpreted. So, through this curriculum the children is able to develop the abilities, analyzation power, synthesize the things and interpret the concepts and characterize the context. This is the most important. And one more, they are able to develop the experimental investigative scientific skills. So, through this curriculum the children has to develop experimental skills. So, means they have to perform the experiments. Through the experiments they have to find, they have to innovate, they have to discover the things. That is very important. So, experimental skills, because if you want to perform an experiment, first the children knows what is hypothesis for the experiment, what are the objectives of the experiment, what is the procedure or process of the experiment, that is most important. Clear? And at the same time they have to know what is outcome, what is the expected outcome, also very important. So, these skills, experiment skills are very important. Now, coming to the next one is they have to investigate. Investigation is the most important. They have to investigate the things. Okay. So, that is a very important. When you are performing, what will comes? What is the situation? What is the consequences? What is the result? They have to investigate. That is the most important. Coming to the next one is a scientific attitude. Scientific attitude means here they do not believe myths. So, they have to see practically, they have some practicality in their work. The practicality is most important. Clear? So, scientific attitude is very important. So, you will not believe any kinds of myths. So, you will see whether it is correct or not. Okay. When you take some different kinds of, when you take some glycerin and potassium permanganate. So, when you pour glycerin on potassium permanganate, it will like blast, fire will comes. Okay. So, you should not feel it as all these people will do this mantra, some people are do those things. Okay. So, they feel that it is a miracle. It is not a miracle. Some of the people will prepare of some what you call it vibhuti from their hands. It's not nothing there. Okay. So, means the children has to develop the scientific skills which is useful for his career, at the same time useful for the society. So, generally curriculum expecting is to develop the following the abilities, which is called as experimental abilities of experimental skills, investigative skills, scientific skills and all the things. And the very important in our curriculum. So, we are expecting develops the very important thing is appreciation of the possibilities, and they have to know the limitations of the science. So, science can create anything, but there should be some limitations. So, they have to know the limitations, they have to appreciate the development of science, that is the most important. At the same time they have to develop the different kinds of values. It is a very important. Social, ethical and cultural values also very important. Cultural values is most important, and they have awareness of the need for the values. Clear? Okay, now coming to this, these are the few concepts among the curriculum. Through the curriculum you are going to understand the concepts. So, science is a part of our daily life situations. It is not away from our culture, correct, and not away from our daily life situation. Anywhere you go there is physical science. Okay. Just now I am speaking. Okay. So, means here my of course vocal cord is vibrating. So, for any vibrating body releases sounds. Am I correct or not? So, that is the reason I am able to talk. it is nothing but physics. Okay, sound, it is one of the chapters, sound. Okay, and some questions are very important. For example, 2 bar magnets are given. We doesn't know those are bar magnet. It is not coated with red oxide. Generally a bar magnet is coated with red oxide and named with like N and S, north pole and south pole. So simply you can identify, otherwise they will give it as at one edge as one dot, that will be considered as a north pole and the other one will be considered south pole. This is the common nature. So here I gave 2. Okay, it seems to be like a iron pieces, iron rods. So without taking any kind of help, we have to say among these 2, one is a bar magnet, other one is a iron rod. Without taking any help from that, you have to say which is iron rod and which is a bar magnet. How? Means here we are investigating by taking the properties of magnetism, you are going to say that. How you are going to say that? Now I am taking the properties of bar magnet. So in the bar magnet, the maximum magnetic power is concentrated on the 2 ends which are called as poles. In the middle, the magnetization power is approximately 0. There is no magnetization power. Means when you take an iron piece, when you put it placed here, it attracts more. When you move into gradually, the attraction force will be decreases. When you come into the center, there is no attractive force. When you move towards the other end, attractive force will be increases, and at the end, which are in the poles, it is a maximum. This is a property of a magnet. If you know that, then you can identify easily. So for example, I said this is one rod and this is another rod. We doesn't know which is a magnet, which is a. Okay, I am putting in my left hand and with the right hand another iron rod. Just move it and move it from one end to other end. Okay, if it attracts uniformly from this end to this end, when it attracts uniformly from this end to this end, means here this is an iron piece and this is an bar magnet. Is it clear? So but when it attracts maximum at the ends and at the center approximately it is 0, nothing attraction will be there, and when it moves towards the other end attracts more, it is the bar magnet, it is the iron rod. See, so like the children is able to identify those things and he has to apply in his daily life situation. That is the most important. Clear? For example, 2 electrical wires are given. One is called as of course positive, another one is negative. We doesn't know. We don't have any tester. We want to test which is the positive one, which is the negative one. How to identify it? Can you say? So just take the 2 wires. Okay, don't mix it and don't make it as one, because it gives a total current and we will get an electrical shock. So take the 2 one. If you touch the one of them, if you get some electrical shock, it's a negative. If you doesn't get any electrical shock, it's a positive. What is the reason? When you hold a positive one, means here the concentration of electrons is less, there is no flow of electrons through our body. Why there is no flow? Because our body is a best conductor. Through, when you touch it, the current will pass through our body, then you will feel an electrical shock. Okay, so positive has a less concentration, so obviously, so there is no possibility of passing current through our body. When you hold a negative one, means excess of electrons are there, so when you hold it, so excess of electron means that there is a flow of current through our body which is passing through, then you feel electrical shock. Is it clear? So like for each and everything, each and every concept, so connected with the daily life situation. So science is totally immersed with the daily life situations. So we will discuss it in the next class, how the physical science is developed connected with the daily life situations. So anyway, so maybe you understand the aims, objectives of the curriculum and development of the curriculum. So thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Namaste.